Thanks for staying with us. Now, a successful business requires collaboration, whether within the workplace where employees, ideas, skills, experiences, and opinions are jointly agreed on to move the company forward, or between two companies merging to build bigger and better. Collaboration allows the transfer of knowledge between team members, enabling each member to expand their skills and learn from each other. Not all collaborations, especially in this business environment, are very smooth, because as sometimes one party feels very threatened by the other, especially when there is a significant growth. So for collaboration to be successful, so many factors have to be considered, and we are here to learn what must be put in place for collaboration. So please, let us hear what you have to. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Isi, quickly, before I bring in our guest, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on collaboration. And have you done any form of collaboration at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Recently, I had one with NAPS. And that's National Association of Private School Enterprises. And what we did was we had a collaboration in terms of, training in teachers on how they're supposed to pronounce their words, basically. So, of course, and it went practically very well. So it was fantastic.
Because, sometimes we just feel like, so I always say to people, my philosophy is I'd rather have 10% of a billion than have 100% of nothing.
Absolutely.
But I don't see people going in that direction. I don't know whether it's greed or whether there's some element of personal. Well, it's not for me to say. That's why we'll bring in the guests.
Greed.
Dr. Okechukwu Okere is a consultant and business leader with over 20 years of experience. His competencies include business research, analysis and advisory, strategy and leadership, finance, credit and risk analysis, intercultural management, and organizational culture. He has seen both sides of the story, having consulted for and worked in different companies in various industries. He is currently the regional VP Africa of the global consulting group Hofstede in Hofstede Insights, and with the core and was the core investor / promoter to help them establish the group first African office. He's a certified organizational culture and intercultural management practitioner, and he's often considered Africa's leading voice for shaping cultures in the workplace. And he's joined us live in studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation and the glowing introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you here. So you know what? This is a very touchy topic for me. It's touchy because a lot of the things that I have done in recent times, I've done them through collaborations. But I realize that it is always almost seeming like it's getting tougher and tougher and more difficult to have smooth collaborative relationships, because I don't know why. Is it an African thing, or is just that people tend to forget the goal at some point, because I believe personally that I'll rather have someone hold my hands, we work together, and we bring the big bags in, than for me to just walk alone, struggle, suffer everything, and at the end of the day I'm not even able to go that far. So tell me, what do you think the biggest challenge of collaboration is?
Yeah, good question. And again, thanks to you and Isi for bringing me here. First of all, if you're struggling with collaboration, you're not alone. 6 out of 10 new ventures fail because of team dynamics. People can't seem to work together. So I guess since when Cain killed Abel, human beings have always struggled to work together. So it's not a surprise that as a human being you might have challenges working with other people. We are, after all, individuals. We have our own ways of thinking, we have our own desires, we have our own targets, we have the things that we want to achieve. So trying to work with someone else who has perhaps a completely different perspective from you could be a bit of a challenge. For the both of you to see things in the same way and to commit at the same level is really asking for a lot. And it will take some time. Perhaps you might be able to do it with a friend of yours that you've known for quite some time. You might be able to collaborate better with them. But then the question is, does that friend bring what it is that you need to that table? So those are the things that you have to consider. So of course, you would have to spend time to understand each other, and perhaps you might want to get professional help for the both of you to see things in the same perspective. And when we say seeing things in the same perspective, it doesn't mean that you have to be exactly the same in your thinking. It simply means that we have to understand
the common goal,
each other, and the common goals as well. So we have a common goal. We know our destination. We know that we want to become, I don't know, a $400 million company in 10 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the question is, how do we get there? And I will have to understand your perspective about it, and you will have to understand mine. And also you would have to understand why I behave the way I behave sometimes. And I will also have to understand why you behave the way you behave sometimes. I will have to understand your trigger points, and you will have to understand my trigger points, and we can then begin to work together.
Okay, so do I go?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, plenty questions. Don't worry.
You've talked about you need to understand how I behave and how the other person behaves for us to be able to reach a common goal and work together. So how do we understand this? Does culture play a huge role in this? And how does it affect the relationship and collaboration?
Good question again. Culture, we believe, is perhaps the strongest element towards getting people to work together. But the thing about culture is a very broad term. So when you say culture, there are different levels, if you might say, different types and different levels of culture. There's a culture of a country. There's a culture of a city. There's a culture of a family.
Culture of business.
There's a culture of an organization.
There's culture of Lagos.
Yeah, there's the culture of Lagos. You know, if you're a Lagosian, for instance, you go to Abuja, you probably feel out of the water. You know, and vice versa. People who grew up in Abuja, if they ever come to Lagos, they would stay only 2 weeks and then they are back. And same thing with.
And I can't stand Abuja.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too boring.
So, and it's the same thing all over the world.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, you have to understand. Theoretically, you would expect that two Nigerians might be better at collaborating than one Nigerian and perhaps somebody from the UK. Or a team from Nigeria might be better at collaborating than a team from the UK. It's not always like that. However, it is very likely that people who have shared the same cultural upbringing or background might find it easier to collaborate. Nevertheless, if they are a diverse team, if they can learn how to collaborate, they will outperform that homogeneous team, the team that is made up of the same group of people. Yeah. So culture plays a lot in this, and specifically in this case, we're talking about organizational culture, the kind of culture that you have in an organization. It can either foster collaboration or it can discourage collaboration, as the case might be. So organizational culture plays a role, and then national culture differences also play a role, and we use the word national culture broadly to refer to societal culture differences. So we would perhaps see a situation where people are from Nigeria, people from Ghana, people from Tanzania, people from Kenya, people from the UK in an international organization. Before we get to see things from the same perspective, it will take a while. If we do get professional help, we can hasten that process.
Speed it up.
Yeah, we can even cut the time by half, actually. But when we get our acts together, we will outperform a homogeneous team.
Okay, so there's this culture or tribe of people that I admire a lot. Yeah, people from the East. Because you know, when they say business success, when you look at the model that they operate in, it's a fantastic model for collaboration and growth and progress for all. The average Igbo man, when he does his business, he's not thinking twice. He will tell you he has everything because he believes that his neighbors, whatever it is that they are stocking, that's he can always get and sell.
Yeah.
And I find that model fantastic and amazing. You know, so how do we translate that into organizational cultures where people understand that every individual in your organization, right, there's a unique attribute that person has that can push,
benefit.
you know. So instead of, because I see a lot of pettiness with organizations, and you see, you will look at pettiness as a small thing until it brings down $1 billion company,
exactly.
you know, or a company that has the potential to build to become $1 billion company plays in the thousands, because some people are not just able to see this. So how do we bring that culture, that organizational culture, up to standard and, you know, for growth?
You know, it's interesting when you talk about the Igbo trade system, because I'm Igbo, anyway, Okechukwu from my name, you can tell. Interestingly, Harvard University actually spotlighted the Igbo trade system. You know, the system of apprenticeship that we see now. So Harvard actually spotlighted it as a successful model for business. But you have to understand that a lot goes into that beyond just people together. There is a cultural system, not just an organizational culture system, but a national culture system. What you typically would see in the markets, everybody reports to someone. They have a system of apprenticeship, which is usually filial in a sense.
I think it's called one boy or something.
Yes, one boy.
One boy.
One boy.
Yes.
So one boy meaning young boy. So you serve a master. A master in the sense that this is somebody who probably brought you from the village and brought you down to Lagos or wherever the market is. And over years, you have become loyal to this person. And this person also has some commitment to you as well. So it is indeed transactional, but on top of that, there's also that filial village relationship, that bond in there. And then even if they come from different villages and they find themselves in Idumota or wherever else, they are one. They have to be one because they understand that there must be market discipline. If I undercut you in pricing, eventually it will come back to me. So that's sort of like that negotiation amongst ourselves. They understand that. And you know, one of the things that you find very impressive in Nigeria, perhaps across most of Africa, but in Nigeria particularly, we call it individualism versus collectivism. We are a collectivist society, meaning that being a part of a group is really important to us.
Yes.
So it's really important. You know that there's an association for every trade in Nigeria. I mean, I was shocked the day I found, and I say this very respectfully, I met the president of the Beggars Association of Nigeria.
Oh my God.
And I was like, seriously, they do have a Beggars Association. They have an association for welders and for vulcanizers.
Yes.
Every trade has an association.
And they must go for their meetings.
You must go for their meetings.
May your tire not be flat.
Exactly.
It happened to me.
They even have those guys who hawk on the streets. They have an association.
Wow.
They do. And you know, it's how we work over here. You're not stronger than that group. The group will discipline you if you ever try to cross them. Yeah, so it's something that we have to understand, that what you see, that success is a product not only of organizations now, but also of the culture, the national culture that has bred that type of organization as well. So it's important to notice that.
Okay, because we're going to go on a very, very quick break. You know what? Let's just quickly take our break and come back, because I want to continue my conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Dr. Okechukwu Okere, and we're discussing collaborations as a tool for business success. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, today is Wednesday. You can join this conversation today. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp. Oh, today is Friday, sorry.
It's Friday.
Oh, sorry. See my
and you're dressed like Friday as well. So I'm wondering where Wednesday came in.
So send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Maybe because they are calling. Please, audience, we don't take calls Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's only send us SMS and WhatsApp. Thank you. All right, so Dr. Okechukwu, if you wanted to ask a question.
Okay. You talked about the culture. You talked about the environment. Now, I had the notion that Nigeria is a patriarchy environment, and because of that, the culture we have in our working environment is stiff, is tough, is aggressive. And I said this in I think a show a couple of days or a couple of weeks ago, and somebody responded to me and said that, in reference to the comment, he said, great societies are built on aggressive work ethic. So can you, what's your take on that? Can you give us a word or two on that?
Yes, so there's a saying that every generalization is false, including this one I'm making. So basically it means that it is really difficult for you to generalize when you say every great society is based on that type of focus and work ethic and aggression. We would have to ask ourselves, what does greatness mean? Okay, so in some of the theories we use, or one of the theories we use to explain culture, which is Hofstede's, that's actually the pronunciation, Hofstede.
Oh no, don't worry, I'm not going to say that.
So
it's German, right? Or
Dutch.
I can't pronounce any Dutch thing, forget it.
So his name is At Hofstede.
At Hofstede. Okay.
And he passed on, unfortunately, last year at age 91. So he came up with a model that said that there were 6 dimensions of national culture, and one of those dimensions he referred to as masculinity. And that is what you're talking about. Yes. You know, masculinity is a dimension of culture that talks about the drive for success. And Nigeria, on average, scores higher than most other African countries. Nigeria is almost at par with the USA and countries like the UK on masculinity. Quite different from countries like the Netherlands, and quite different from countries like Sweden or Finland. You know, countries like that are, we call them feminine. Basically meaning that in such countries, the society tends to care for the weak. And so tries to even out things a bit. So if you are poor, you can still get access to a good education, and you can still get access to good health care in a feminine country. In a masculine country, if you are poor, you are dead. So the question is, what is greatness? What is greatness? And I would say this respectfully, the USA is probably a great country. Finland as well probably you would refer to it as a great country. Currently, they are called the happiest country on earth. They're the most loved country on earth. They have the best educational system on earth. They have one of the best, the highest quality, the quality of life is the highest in Finland.
If I step in, will this aid collaboration in any form and in any way?
Yes.
Between the patriarchal countries and the feminist countries?
The patriarchal countries tend to be more competitive. So because of that drive. So because we are all driving for success, then the question is, why should I support you to be ahead? When I also have, do you have 2 heads? Do you know who I am? That sort of that sort of thing. So so you would tend to see more consensus in the feminine societies, more consensus in terms of, you know what, let's move the deadline for this project. Why? Because she needs a few more days to
get herself together.
But then in masculine society, what do you mean? We agreed that this was going to be delivered on Tuesday. If you can't make it, you know, you
I'll backstab you.
So, how do we then choose, because AK was supposed to be on the show, and she was talking about, saying that there might be a lot of distrust amongst business partners, and to take precautions, should SMEs what kind of precautions should SMEs take to protect their investments and their interests? So, and she was now asking, how do we then choose, you know, businesses to collaborate with? We want to bring it down to SMEs. Now, I'm a small business. Maybe I want to grow my business to another level, but I know that I cannot go to that next level by myself. I need maybe like a big brother, or I need somebody that is maybe at the same level with me. How do we identify, what are the traits that would tell that this collaboration might actually move towards, you know, a better success?
So I would say, first of all, you need to determine if that relationship is going to be transactional or if it's going to be sort of like a marriage in a sense. Transactional in the sense that, you know what, there's a common goal, we go together, we do like a joint venture, we achieve our goals, bye-bye, bye-bye, I'm off, you're off, no issues. And then if another opportunity like that comes again, we'll do it again. So that's one type of relationship that you can have. And when you have that, then you don't really need a parity of some sort in terms of the kind of culture that you have, because you have an understanding, which of course must be protected in a contractual document. You should sign a contract binding both parties, explaining what both parties will do, and also must be enforceable as well. That's one. But if you're looking for a longer term symbiotic relationship, like a marriage, then you have to be compatible. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must have the same organizational culture, but ideally you should have the same perception in terms of the goals that you want to achieve. And some of your core values, if I may use that term, some of your core values should be also in sync. So you should have the same agreement in terms of how to treat employees or how to treat vendors, for instance, the people that you'll be buying from and the people that you'll be selling to. Otherwise, at some point in time, there's going to be a fight, and it will not be a small fight.
You know, why is collaboration important? Because if you look at the trajectory of how businesses are being positioned now, I know it is important, but people do not know why. And every time you see people, you know, struggling and falling out of, because probably maybe they're not seeing the big picture. Can you help us paint that big picture of what collaboration can do?
You know, I think it's an African saying that says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So a collaboration helps a lot in the sense that, first of all, as an organization, you can't do everything. You can't do everything. The most successful organizations in the world have a lot of partners that they collaborate with. They collaborate with people on the same level with them. They collaborate with organizations below them in terms of size, and they collaborate sometimes with organizations above them. So you see, surprisingly, people might think that Apple and Samsung, for instance, are competitors. But can you believe that they also collaborate on certain projects together?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Apple and Google will collaborate, and Samsung and Google will collaborate so that you can have Google on your phones to make those things happen. So the tech companies have given us a good example of collaboration. What happened to those tech companies that did not collaborate? Can you remember? Can you remember one of them?
They're gone.
Okay.
Nokia.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to name names, but there were some companies that came up with proprietary software, refused to share that software, and they held the market for a while, and then eventually what happened? Died. Because the world, the future is about what some people in business call co-opetition rather than competition. So we compete with each other. But then at a certain point in time, we will recognize that we are competing, but we can collaborate and take even a bigger share of the market. It's strategic collaboration.
I hope they're listening. You see, you have a question. You have a question, yes. I hope they're listening, because I don't just know why. Hey, please, if you are looking for collaborators, I'm available. Because I don't know. I'm the easiest person to just, because once you see the big picture, let's do this together and let's move forward. Like, I don't understand why we have to start fighting each other tomorrow.
Little things.
Please, take question.
So this is from Ade. He says, good evening, ladies.
Ade is in the UK, by the way.
Ade is in the UK. So he says, how do you continue collaborating with a childhood friend? You started business together, and you both get married, and he started showing attitudes to part ways. What do you do?
Well, if the relationship isn't working, again, you know, business is, in a sense, like a marriage. It's a type of a marriage. If you're collaborating, if you call yourself partners, by the way, anyways, when you're in business together, just like people who are in a relationship will refer to themselves as partners. So if you have a disagreement with your partner and you cannot see things in the same way anymore, you probably have grown apart. It happens. You probably have grown apart. What do you do? What do you do? I mean, it's a difficult situation. Now, in a marriage, perhaps you can say, you know what, let's try and save the marriage. You know, but in a business, when you're always fighting each other, best thing to do is
cut ties. And count your losses.
Sell your stake and move on. You know, sell your stake. But if you think that you have something to fight for in it, then try as much as possible to get the other person to settle with you.
Is it possible to also bring someone like you, like a professional, into the picture? So maybe you are then able to break down to both parties. This is the pros and the cons of staying together as a business, you know, because if you're able to show the person, for instance, to say, you know what, if you stay together, this is the trajectory of where you're headed, and if you part ways, this is how you're going to start, maybe from scratch or whatever. Is it possible that it might help? Yes, it can. Especially for... Are there businesses that you've saved like that? Well, in a sense, not exactly in that situation, but actually not in a small business situation. No, tell us more in larger businesses where the leadership of the businesses are struggling with agreeing and seeing the same picture. So in such instances, you would have executive sessions. And you'd have like, what some people would call it a come to Jesus moment, if you want to call that. Everybody would basically tell the truth. This is how I feel. I don't like this. I don't like when this happens. I don't like when that happens. We also use some of our tools as well to help people to anonymously give feedback on how they're feeling in that relationship, in that organization, in terms of that being a part of the management team, the leadership team in that organization. And for such organizations, we focus more on the management, on the top management, because the top management is where everything flows down from. So for a small business, if you can, of course, afford a business coach, then call in a business coach to sit you down and have that honest conversation. Both of you will have that honest conversation. We might not like each other, but professional behavior means that I would be able to forego my likes and dislikes and work with you. It's going to be a bit difficult, but I can do it. I can do it. Why? Because I need to eat. when we partner, we know that we're going to do much better. But then you do know, and this is, if you read a lot of books about some of the greatest companies, sometimes you actually have some downright disagreements that are just horrible. I mean, and I say this, Puma and Adidas. You know, do you know that the founders were brothers? Yes, I heard. Yeah, they were brothers. Right. Brothers. I mean, brothers. I mean, there's a particular group in Nigeria, a music group in Nigeria, which I'm not going to name, but they were brothers as well, and they split up. So sometimes the disagreements can be so heavy. And since they split up, I've not made sense of what it is that they're churning out. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know who is able. In fact, that's a fantastic example. I don't know who is going to be able to tell them that you were so good together. Yeah. So do you think that, because envy, jealousy, I mean, how bad is this our, what's it called, personal, what do I call it, personal traits or whatever, affecting businesses' growth? Sometimes it tends to be higher in the arts. Artists tend to display that more, whether they are musicians or whatever. When they have after all, I'm the one that have the voice. Yeah, when they have creative differences, sometimes it can be really, really, really bad. I mean, look at the Fugees, for those of us who are old school. You know, and we really loved them when they were together as a band. Absolutely. I mean, Jean is good on his own, but then, you know, when you put him together with Paz and they were amazing. They were amazing. They were like, fantastic. You know, so separately, they were not exactly there. Yes. So same thing with business. You're bringing something and I'm bringing something. You know, one of us is probably analytical and the other person is just respect our differences. You know, so what we need to do is constantly have that conversation with each other. I mean, people who are married even know that as well. You're most likely very different from your spouse. Or if you have a partner, we are most likely very different from them. Absolutely. You know, so, but do you allow those differences to now create a problem? No, you find a way to live together and to enjoy working and living together. You might close your eyes and bear up for a while, but if those differences, if you don't settle those clashes regularly, eventually you're going to get really hurt and then grow apart. Irreconcilable differences. So what's the best? Okay, I was going to say something. I was going to talk about the role of communication, which you've already just trashed out. Yeah. So if you want to give our audience a quick nugget, just quick nuggets on collaboration, what will you tell them? So the first thing is understand that the goals of the organization, the organizational goals, your objectives, the reason why you are in business is more important than your ego.
and your idiosyncrasies. So understand that first of all, that look, this what I'm doing is really important. Yeah. Also understand and say that to yourself every day. You are not perfect. You have flaws. There's something in management science we call the Johari window. A Johari window basically talks about you. There's some parts of yourself that you know. There's some parts of yourself that you don't know, which other people know.
Yeah.
There's some parts of yourself that only you know.
Yes.
And then there's some parts of yourself that you don't know and other people don't know.
Yeah, only God knows that one.
So with the Johari window, you have to understand that there are certain behaviors I might display.
So you must be open to feedback.
Yeah, you must be. And that will make you humble. It will make you more accepting. It should, let me not say it would. It should make you humble. When you realize that you're not perfect.
Yes.
I might have actually made a mistake. Maybe I'm the wrong person here. And if both of you, that is you and the other person, if you could have that kind of mindset.
So it's all about ego, basically.
So it could be ego, it could be something else. It could just be that the person rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay.
Some people speak very loudly, for instance, and some other people, it gets on their nerves when people speak very loudly. So the issue is, if I don't tell you that the way you speak gets on my nerves,
yes.
Early in our relationship, in our business relationship, eventually one day we're going to be at some meeting and then I'll just probably have an outburst that will end everything there.
So let's talk integrity. The role of integrity when it comes to business collaborations. Because I know that there are some people that they are corny. They know that they are corny, but they will still collaborate with them. You understand? And do the business, and you still get your money out. But why are you laughing?
We're in Nigeria. That's how.
So tell us the role of,
I know that a lot of my friends on Facebook will be like, on social media will be like, what do you mean we're in Nigeria? You know what I mean, we're in Nigeria. We're in Nigeria because, yes, we're in Nigeria. It happens a lot. Maybe not more in Nigeria than other countries, but you know exactly what I mean. Some people intentionally, from the outset, they intended to defraud their other party in the relationship.
Yes.
Maybe only God can help us decipher those people from the onset. From the outset, what do we have to do? We can only protect ourselves with the law. But there's another thinking in business, which is that in business there are two business. You have a lot of Latin phrases like caveat emptor, but then there's also another concept in business called ubirima fide, which means utmost good faith. Okay. If I'm doing business with you, there must be ubirima fide. There must be utmost good faith. If I go into business thinking that you are going to defraud me, we will never do business.
Sure.
So basically, what it's important it's an unsaid principle in business. When you're coming in and I'm coming in and we want to have a joint venture together, I must say to you, I am not intending to defraud you, and I must mean it. And same thing on the other side. And we have to draw up a contract that will ensure that if you ever try to cross me, or if I ever try to cross you, we will pay for it. But that is another thing, because you can draw up contracts and you can have them
still irrelevant.
And who wants to spend time in the courts trying to fight this and fight that? We want to just make money and we want to just work together. Why are we thinking about how long we're going to spend in court doing all of those things? It makes me feel so sad that we don't seem to have in some countries they have what they call a Better Business Bureau, which basically tracks the behavior of businesses, not just individuals, right? So with individuals, when you want to collaborate, you say, oh, that person, how is he like, or how is she like? Say, I don't mind her. Last time we did a job together, she was the first to take. She never contributed that good after that. So that is you can know that. But it is possible to have that as a formal channel where we can track the behaviors of businesses. Something that a lot of businesses, big businesses in Nigeria do when you try to collaborate with them, they delay your payments. And they delay it unjustly. Sometimes they can delay it for, in some cases I've heard, as much as 2 years, 3 years.
True.
When you have the Naira, the way the Naira is now, it's not good. So what do? Do you take them to court? You can't take them to court. They are bigger than you. They will find a lawyer or something that will help them to stay.
You further make losses.
And you might not even get your money back.
Might not get your money back. So what do? You have to rely on information, background checks to make sure that these people are people that you can trust and you can work with. You know, we hope that as we continue to build a better nation, we would have stronger laws, more enforceable laws, and our laws as well, rather than siding the strong and the powerful and the rich, will side more or side equally with the weak and the poor as well. To help small businesses to have a voice.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The size of the vision eventually determines how critical collaboration is to the overall achievement. There is no great business today that can exist without collaboration. How many businesses truly have the strong vision that eventually demands this? That's from Benson. Do you want to quickly put a word on that?
That's very interesting. How many businesses, is it that how many businesses can survive without collaboration? Or
No. How many businesses truly have strong visions, right? That eventually demands this collaboration? You know?
Well, I would say define strong vision. What is a strong vision? You know, if you want to make dresses, beautiful dresses like the one you have on right now, and to sell, is that not a good vision? Is that not a strong vision? You know, maybe you are good with the design, but you need someone to actually make the dresses to sew them.
Yeah.
The person may not be creative with the design. So you need collaboration. What is a good vision? What is a strong vision? Did Steve Jobs have a good vision or a strong vision when he was in his his parents' garage with Apple?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
That's why he's bigger today.
Yeah, but do you know how many people were in the garages at the same time with him? And how many of them survived up to now? So I would say, I'm not saying that question is wrong. I'm just basically saying that, yes, it is possible that you might have people that they have a strong vision, but they don't follow through. But you also have instances where most people have good ideas. And what will actually take them to the next level is collaborating with someone who has what they don't have. So whether you have a strong vision or not, try as much as possible, if you can, to collaborate with someone else who can complement your weaknesses.
Absolutely.
So it's important to do that.
I think it's a fantastic way to wrap up the week. Thank you so much, Dr. Okere.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Okere is okay.
I think I'm going to trademark that. I'll just try to trademark that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay is okay. I'll try to trademark that.
Thank you, EC. We had an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. We hope to bring you back again, honestly, because the way you're breaking it down, we should not talk another type of business again. But I had fun. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope people will truly learn, because honestly, I am a sucker for collaboration. I mean, I would not be here without collaboration. It is collaboration that actually builds bigger and better, you know, for anybody that wants to go far in life. So let's take a cue from that. So before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we're planning a huge giveaway just to say thank you to you for watching and believing in the Ways brand. So follow the conversation and do well to follow us on Instagram as well. Like, share, comment, and invite your family and friends to watch us live every Monday through Friday. All right, so if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. That's from Helen Keller. We'll see you live on Monday, same time, as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.